quick little run through everything that's done to the car. Cold air intake, upgraded V3 ported turbo from ZZP. We wrapped the intake manifold, or I'm sorry, the exhaust manifold and the downpipe. We also have the ZZP 2.5-inch downpipe, the high performance coil pack from ZZP. I have the Stage 1 cam, the 72.5 millimeter diamond pistons, the ported intake manifold, the PCV bypass with the catch can, the throttle body spacer just in case I want to add things later on. Let's see, we did the big 3 wire kit, of course the subwoofer wiring, the ZZP intercooler upgrade, which you can't really see it. I don't think you can really see it anywhere. Yeah, you can't really see it. There it is. I've got a mesh grill over top of the front of it to keep it protected. We have the external thermostat with the air-cooled transmission cooler up top, but we haven't connected that yet. Let's see, what else have we done to this thing? We deleted the front cat. It still has the secondary cat for back pressure. Deleted the muffler, deleted the resonator. So minus the cat, it's essentially straight pipe from the cat back. Essentially straight pipe from the turbo back, actually, because that secondary cat's rather small. We did the PCV bypass from Cruze kits, but we routed it into a oil catch can that I got from ZZP. This is just their baseline Universal. So if you guys were wondering what it looks like, that's what it looks like installed with a fitting. It does not come with the fittings. It comes with these 2 fittings and some cheap hose. But if you want good stuff, I'd suggest going and buying some good stuff. And then of course doing a drain fitting, you'll have to do that as well because it just comes with a bolt. Comes with a K&N style oiled filter. I got the screen to go over top of that just to help keep extra junk out. What else did we do? Oh, the atmospheric bypass forged atmospheric bypass valve. It's not actually a blow-off valve, or atmospheric pressure valve, I think is what it's called. I don't know. It's got a different, it's not actually a blow-off valve, but it sounds like one. I think that's it. I'm pretty sure that's it. I think that's all we've done to it. I'm pushing roughly 250 horse, 250 wheel horse, sorry, and probably around 280, 290 torque. We're gonna get it on the dyno as soon as we can. Maybe see if we can tune it just a little bit more. But overall, I'd say it's pretty impressive. I wouldn't recommend going out and buying a Cruze and doing this to it, but if you already own one, it's damn fun to do it to it. This setup here with the entire engine rebuild kit, the getting the valves redone, doing the timing and all that stuff, getting the machine work done, everything done on the car, this costs roughly around $6,500, $7,000. So if you already have one and you've got some extra cash, it's definitely worth doing it. It unlocks, I mean, it's 3 times the car that it was. So it easily is worth it. Plus, getting the ZZP tune from Turbo Tim, that really helps out a lot too. That is the key to all of it. You can put all this shit in and it's gonna run like garbage unless you get Tim to tune it. So, or at least get somebody to tune it, but I recommend Tim. Got a diehard battery because there's no point in going any other way. Back here, other than the exhaust tip, the appearance is actually stock to the car. I got this tip welded on, as you guys can see a little bit up underneath there. It's pretty much stock piping all the way through. I've got a couple of custom pieces welded up, custom hangers and all that stuff, but yeah, it's essentially all stock piping, or it's about 60% stock piping. So we got the ZZP Chevy Cruze And then over here we have the SS badge. So, yeah. And of course, ZZP and B&R, kind of ironic. I have the, oh yeah, that's one more thing that I forgot to mention, is the E85 kit here. That's what I got from B&R. It's the only piece from B&R on my car. Everything else I went ZZP. They're a good group of people. Good group of people. So, as you can see, I'm going to show you that I have everything installed with no check engine light. Ta-da! So we have 3 gauges installed here. Let me go ahead and step inside here. So we have 3 gauges installed here. 2 of them do not work because they are not connected yet. The lines are running. I've got power running to them, but the actual equipment is actually sitting in the engine bay ready to be ran to where they're supposed to go. So I've got an oil pressure gauge down here. Obviously it's reading maxed out because it's not plugged in, and I've also got the trans temperature over here, and it's maxed out because it's also not plugged in. Now they all have power. The only thing working is actually the boost gauge because it's actually connected. So I've already run the lines through and connected it, and you actually connect it through down here underneath this side over here. This is a base controller knob, but there's a panel that you can get everything to up underneath there, and it's actually pretty easy to get to. You take this little side panel off here and the fuse panel, and you can hook everything in. So it looks just like that. I got these little, see those little 90-degree fuse head things that are on there? They got the little blue fuses popping out of them. I recommend getting on Amazon and buying some of those. It's a lot cleaner than just wrapping your direct wires around a fuse. It's not exactly the safest thing to do. So we also have the Chevy Cruze Tesla screen upgrade in this car, which is, I don't know, I would say it's cool, but it's very sluggish. And you're supposed to be able to change this to a Cruze, and I'm not able to do that. So I went through the other settings. Some people said you just long press it and it doesn't do anything. So I've held it for 45 seconds and it didn't do anything. So I don't think it's gonna do anything, but they are cool. You do get the radio, the navigation, Google Maps, all that. It's basically an Android tablet that they put in there. You got to connect everything. It comes with the pigtails and all that stuff. You can get them on Amazon. They're pretty dope. They're kind of pricey. I think they're around 300 bucks if I remember right. But it does give you your engine speed, your live engine speed, and your current actual speed. But since it's a European made, actually it's an Asian made, it's from China. Since it's an Asian made console, it's done in kilometers. And it's also done in like Celsius and stuff like that. So if you're American, you're gonna have a little bit of a tough time trying to read this, but it's really not a big deal. I don't pay any attention to it. I've got everything over here. You know, I've got tachometer here, I've got speedometer here, so I really don't care about this, but it is connected. It does actually work. But yeah, I mean, I've had a lot of people ask me to go over a full rundown of the car. You know, how has it been? You know, is it good gas mileage and all that shit? Answer to the gas mileage thing is no. It gets terrible gas mileage, but I'm still getting probably somewhere in the nature of around, you know, 25 to 27 miles to the gallon on the highway, and somewhere between like, I don't know, 18 to, you know, 15 to 17 in the city or something like that. I mean, it's not terrible, but it's E85. You get cheaper gas, but you get less fuel mileage out of it. But if you're running a turbo car, it's really the only way to go, because it's a cooler burn. It's less work on your turbo, keeps everything cooler in the engine. Like, it's all around better for your car. You know, the cooler burn especially, that's the main thing. And the 105 octane is really nice too. But you are going to fill up more often. Normally I was getting about 400 miles to the tank, 450, sometimes like 450 range, 400 to 450 range on a full tank of like 87. And with 91, I was getting about 400 to a tank. And then with the E85, I'm getting roughly around 290, 300 to a tank. So you lose about 100 miles to the tank when you go from 87 to 91, but it's a way better gas. And then you lose another roughly 100 miles to the tank when you put the E85 to 91. But you're paying roughly a third less cost for the same, or for actually a higher octane fuel. So, you know, the choice is yours. If filling up more often doesn't bother you, which for me, I check my oil and stuff every time. So for me, it's actually a good thing, especially being on a fresh built motor. You know, to fill up more often, that means I'm checking my oil more often, checking my coolant more often. So for me, that's a good thing. But for some people, it might be annoying. You might want to just cap out at 91 octane. But for about $7 grand, honestly, guys, $6 grand, you can get to this build. They actually have the Z04 turbo out, not for the Cruzes yet, but for the Sonic. They do have the Sonic setup ready. So it will be cool to see the Z04 perform on one of these. I do plan on actually taking my V3 off, my ported V3. I do plan on taking that off, selling it, and buying the Z04. But in actuality, I'm going to have a turbo. I don't want to put the stock one back on, so I'm probably going to have to wait until I can buy the Z04 and then sell the V3 afterward. So it's going to be a minute for me. I just got this build done, so I'm not really in a rush. I'm happy with what I got. Kind of, you know, they told me that I could wait for the Z04, but I mean, I had my engine apart. What, you know, like I had plans. I had, you know, my brother's shop lift. You know, lift time is very limited. You know, I had to get what I had. So I unfortunately did not have time to wait for the Z04. And then, of course, like 2 weeks after I put the V3 ported in there and get my full build done, they're like, oh yeah, here's the sneak peek on YouTube. But man, I fucking love ZZP, dude. They put out some quality products, guys. I see a lot of people hating on the V3, saying, oh, it's just a cheap Chinese turbo that they've put a build kit in. Okay, so what? They got the metals from China or wherever the hell they got them. Who cares? It's still a quality turbo, and it still performs better than the Garrett turbo that they put in it stock from GM. So what's the deal, man? You know, people aren't afraid of, you know, complaining about paying $580 for a stock Garrett turbo from the dealership, but you know, you want to complain about a $1,300 turbo from, you know, that's 3 to 4 times the power, you know, and much more efficient. And it's not going to crack the manifold on you. But, you know, people talk crap on it because it's Chinese and, you know, it looks Chinese or whatever. It looks like a Chinese turbo and whatnot. But, I mean, honestly, the internals are what really matter. And as long as the manifold doesn't crack, then it doesn't really matter where the hell it comes from, you know. So from firsthand experience, you know, from driving the car for about roughly a month, putting about 1,000 miles on it, honestly, I can say it is not the same car, not even close to the same. I mean, the Chevy Cruze is such a pathetic car when it comes off the line. I mean, it's like 140 horsepower. I think they dyno tested one the other day stock, and it was like 128 horsepower, 126 horsepower, something like that, at the wheels stock, you know, from the factory. So it's extremely unimpressive, especially for being a turbo car. So. And then, you know, with just Tim's tune alone, he was able to pull almost 20 horsepower out off completely stock components. So, you know, even tuning these alone wakes these cars up. So even if you only have a couple $100 to throw towards like a cold air intake and a tune, that is probably going to be one of the best power for, like, bang for your buck situations is the ZZP cold air intake and a tune from Turbo Tim. Those two things right there, those are probably going to be one of your best bets, guys. So yeah, I've rambled on long enough. Damn, this video is almost 14 minutes long already. But I wanted to give you guys a full rundown. I keep getting a lot of the same questions in like my inboxes on different social media platforms, so I'm just going to put this up on YouTube and you know, just let this run, and I'll just direct people to this link. But I'm gonna give you guys a couple little engine revs. I do have the rev limiter taken off. I did request Tim to remove the rev limiter. The only thing about that, if you are going to have the rev limiter removed, is never ever 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 drop this car, especially with the automatics, never ever drop this car into gear above 4,000 RPMs, honestly above 3,000 RPMs. You will shred your torque converter like nobody's business. The only reason that I got the rev limiter removed from park neutral is because I wanted to rev it and just have the noise. So I got tired of revving it and it capping me at 4,000. It makes my rev sound stupid. You know, when you're trying to show off an exhaust and it's tapping out at 4,000, it just sounds stupid. So I had the rev limiter removed for that specific reason. Again, never, ever, 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 ever drop this car. Never slam it to redline and drop this car into gear. You will shred your torque converter. You will blow out your transaxle. You will do some serious damage to this car. There's a reason why that limiter is set to 4,000, because about 4,500, it's going to turn your torque converter into soup. So anyways, just a little side note there, you can have it removed. I am going to do some revs. You are going to see my rev go above 4,000, which as you stock Cruze owners may know, which is probably most of you guys watching this, as you stock Cruze owners may know, it hits that 4,000 and cuts off. Like, it's just stupid. So you can ask Tim when you get your car tuned to remove that limiter, but again, do not slam this bitch into a gear. You will regret it, because that will be the last time you do it until you take it to the shop again. So we're gonna do 2 little quick, maybe 3 little quick revs, let you guys hear the blow off valve, and then I'm gonna go ahead and shut off the video. It's already almost 16 minutes. I rambled off for 2 more minutes, so here we go. Guys, let me know what you think. Drop a comment below, smash the like button, subscribe. I know it's a cannabis channel, but screw it, I don't want to make a whole separate channel for the car unless you guys think I should, and then drop that comment down in the channel below and we'll upload this to a whole new channel. But I'll catch you guys later. Thanks for watching the video. Post any questions below. I'll make additional videos to answer them as well. Catch you guys later. See you down in the comments.